as a massive Pearl Jam fan, if any band releases a brand new song called Eddie Vedder, it's certainly going to catch our attention, and that is exactly what Vancouver roots rock band, the Matinee, have done. We're joined by Matt Layzell, the frontman for the group. Matt, how's it going?
It's going great. It's a frigid day here on the West Coast. I'm looking outside saying I think I'm going to stay inside for a little while, but it's great to talk with you, Aaron. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to chat with you as well. So let's dig into this track a little bit, which is, a very fun, very catchy, very uplifting song. The original version, Eddie Vedder, it was co-produced with Steve Dawson. It was a part of your band's End of Scene B-Sides EP, which was just released back in November. Really, they were the hidden gems that didn't make it onto your 2023 album, Change of Scene. Now the song, I guess, fast forward to, right now, here in February, it has a little bit of a fresh spin to it.
Yeah, so when we did the B-Sides, you're right, it was just a collection of songs that didn't really fit the tone, or there just wasn't room for them on the Change of Scene record we put out. And so Steve Dawson, who's an amazing, talented artist and producer and mixer, he had mixed that whole EP, and that version of Eddie Vedder on the EP fit with that collection of songs. And I was just chatting as I am always chatting with an old friend of ours, Steve Bays, longtime friend and collaborator since our first record. And I was just telling him about the song and how pumped I was about the song. And he took a listen and right away he's like, oh, I want to play with this. He's this pure creative, energetic soul. And he just wanted to have fun with it. So we said, yeah, sure. See what you can do. And he sent us a mix, and there's like one or two changes that we asked for, but he kind of nailed it. He's a drummer at heart, multi-instrumentalist and drummer first and foremost. So he kind of led his mix with the drums in focus, and I think that brought the energy to the track.
Hats off to all the drummers out there that they're not just keeping beat. They got some creative blood flowing through them too, right?
This is true. This is true.
Right on. So I love the inspiration for this song, but let me hear the story from you, Matt. So like many of us, we grew up listening to Pearl Jam. 10 came out in really some formative years of your life, like many of us. But eventually you found yourself in a little bit of a rut.
Yeah. I mean, to add to that, Pearl Jam is one of those bands that has been putting out records for my whole life, and definitely put out music at a formative time for me when, I was first exploring songwriting and what it was to perform. And, I kind of idolized them for sure back at a young age. It was definitely, music that resonated with me back then. But then I lost track of Pearl Jam. They just kept putting out records. I never had the chance to see them live, but Eddie Vedder's just always been this larger than life character. And so, on our drives when we're touring, leaving from Vancouver, we always have to head east, and we always pass through the Fraser Valley, which is about an hour and a bit outside of Vancouver. And that's where the Vedder River flows. I'm assuming it has no connection to Eddie Vedder, but the river flows through the Fraser Valley. And each time we would pass it, I'd see the sign, and I just think about Eddie Vedder for some reason. And it was on one of those drives where I was having car trouble myself, and I was just thinking, man, like, what could make my day better right now? And I thought, I just wish, I wish Eddie Vedder was a friend of mine. And that thought just stuck in my head until this melody kind of happened. And I was thinking, like, what could be three simple things that would make my day better right now? And it's like, the world is just spinning so fast. Things are happening at, such a speed right now. I wish the world could slow down sometimes. And I wish that, sometimes we could just read minds, and I could understand what people want or expect out of me. And then I wish that Eddie Vedder was a friend of mine. Those three things would make the world a bit better. And it just happened. The melody happened, and that idea stuck. So, yeah.
No, that's an amazing story. And from what I understand too, while you were sitting there, you were thinking about, some of the things that you would talk to Eddie about, and some of the things you would ask him. So, I'll ask you now, what would be some of those things, whether it's in that moment or now, at any time? What are some of those things that you would want to talk to Eddie about?
I'm going to pause there because I think I read somewhere that you have a goal of interviewing Eddie Vedder. So I should ask, have you ever interviewed him?
No, we haven't. We haven't had a chance to interview any of the guys yet. So we're putting it out in the universe. We do that all the time. We've seen them live a bunch of times, but we've never had the chance to meet them or the chance to interview them. So, but
this is the next best thing right now.
Well, hey, you released a song called Eddie Vedder, so we jumped all over it, and we needed to know the story inside of it, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think, what I pictured in that moment was just sitting next to Eddie in the car, just casually talking about music that was important to him, chatting about what life is like in his band touring, what the dynamics are. I've doing songwriting. I often do a lot of research to kind of dig for the gold behind whatever it is that I'm seeing, and often what I'm seeing in my mind when I'm writing is a bit of a music video. In this instance, I was picturing just sitting there, and Eddie's next to me, and we're just chatting. As I say, I was looking at all these interviews that he'd done and mining for the gold there, and it just seems like he's just a chill, cool guy to talk with. There was interviews I saw with him, chatting about the dynamic of his band, about how songs come to life, what songs make a record, what songs don't. The drummer songs don't make the record, but they might make the B-sides record, that type of idea. And then I heard him say that sometimes he feels like a book that people take down from a shelf and spend time with. And I thought, Eddie, yeah, like that's exactly how I feel sometimes. And I felt this connection, and I just ran with that. Yeah.
No, that's amazing. And I think you're right. Yeah, definitely a book, because I feel like if I ever had the chance to talk to him, you always think about, what would be that first thing? Chances are it'd be kind of a fleeting moment, and you wouldn't probably have an hour. You'd maybe have a little bit of time, right? But how you mentioned how you wish he was a friend of yours, because I think that would be what I would hope for as well, because I think you would want to have multiple conversations, because he's. And speaking from your perspective as a member of a band, a leader of a band, you could probably spend hours just talking about that dynamic, and how you can relate that to your band, or take away some of that advice on how to make things as smooth and as great as they can be for your own band, right?
Yeah. Like how do you keep it going for so long? How do you keep everybody happy, and hopefully we can, but they're obviously testament to that. Yeah, when Pearl Jam came through town last year, I had the opportunity to go. A friend grabbed me and took me to the show. And
oh, you have seen him now? Oh, good. I thought you said you hadn't. Oh, good.
Yeah, and I gotta say, like, as I mentioned, I'd lost track with some of their most recent albums. I'd hear the singles, but I dug into that prior to the show, and they obviously played a lot of new material, and they're just so great live. It's just, bare bones rock and roll. Eddie's such a charismatic performer, but the band is so tight, so great. The songs are, just as powerful now as they were when they were written. And the whole audience knows every word in the singing along. It was such a great show, and it was really inspiring to see that, like, hey, these guys still they're not just going through the motions. They're performing as if, it's the last show they'll do still. And I think that's the spirit that in our band, the Matinee, we try to bring to each performance too. So there's still hope out there for us aging rock and roll bands.
There you go. And and I appreciate you taking a bit of a deep dive. No pun intended. Deep. Anyway, as much as I'd love to geek out over Pearl Jam all day, but let's talk a little bit more about the Matinee and about you guys and what you guys are all about. So you guys have been together for over 15 years. You have 4 albums under your belt. For anyone that is just getting introduced to the Matinee, what are you guys all about?
We call it roots rock, but we walk the lines of several genres, I guess. At the heart of it, we're a rock band. We've been lifelong friends. We grew up together in Coquitlam, which is just outside of Vancouver, and we've been playing music together largely since high school. We started the band just as a reason to tour a record that we'd made. At that time, putting the record out by ourselves and calling venues and pretending we had a record label and convincing them to book our band, and mailing out the CDs to every radio station, college radio station we could find, and just did that for years, just booking ourselves to the point where, then we finally got the attention of the industry and managers and labels and booking agents, and that obviously helped. So, but we're a band that has been grinding out there for a long time. As you say, 15 years. I often say the hardest part about being in a band is just being in a band. It's hard to keep that going and keep momentum and keep everybody inspired and productive. But somehow we've managed to. We still love it, and more than anything, we love playing live. So that's, I think, what keeps us going, is the chance to get to that next show. So
it sounds like you're definitely taking a page out of Pearl Jam and going through the ups and downs together and maintaining and still creating and performing. So that's fantastic. So are you guys working on any new music, or is there any touring plans at this point as we get into 2025 here?
We've been in hibernation mode right now, actually doing a little bit of writing as we've gotten a bit older, we've grown a bit reluctant to tour through the harsh winter months. Last year we had a tour through Alberta down into Montana that actually nearly killed us. It was minus 35, black ice. We certainly hit that ice and we're spinning, and our trailer's sliding next to us down the highway. It was the interstate down in the U.S. And you don't want to be in those moments, and we all know bands that have had accidents in the winter months, and thankfully we haven't yet. But that was pretty scary. So I think this year we had a lot of show offers come in through winter, and we were hesitant there, and so we're using that time to do some writing, and then we've got some summer announcements, some tour dates, some festivals that we'll be announcing soon as well.
Perfect. Well, we'll look forward to that. We'll definitely stay tuned to thematineemusic.com for all and your social media, I'm sure, for all the latest information and updates from the band. Matt, thank you very much for taking the time. And I'll tell you what, if you ever get the chance to have coffee with Eddie Vedder and you need some media outlet to kind of document that, definitely look us up.
I've definitely been putting it out in the universe. I want Eddie to at least hear this song. So, if he does, I will absolutely get in touch and let me know when you have that interview with him too.
Sounds good. Well, it's all about manifesting today.
That's right.
Right on. Thanks a lot, Matt.
Thanks, Aaron. Take care.